Good evening. My name is Patrick Sieb. I'm Executive Director of the Destination Medical Center Economic Development Agency, and it's my opportunity to welcome you and thank you all for joining us tonight. As we move through this program, you'll hear directly from Dr. Otley, a Mayo Clinic physician, but more importantly, Chair of the Destination Medical Center EDA Board, the Mayor of Rochester, Kim Norton, and Pam Wheelock, who is Chair of the DMC Corporation. There are many elected officials here that I met and visited with throughout the course of this, and I wish I could remember all of you to say and introduce you particularly, but what I would like to do is ask all of you who are elected officials, city, county, state legislature, if you would please stand up and wave and let us acknowledge the members of the elected community who are joining us tonight. I also want to thank tonight's sponsors who really make this event possible and make it fare-free, if you will. So we really made an effort to make this accessible and available to all members of the community. And with support from Mayo Clinic and ISG Architects and Cohen & Partners as our gold sponsors and many other sponsors, we were able to produce this event and make it free of charge. And we've really been taking cues from people who have said, you know, let's make DMC more accessible, let's make activity and participation in DMC events more accessible. So please join me in thanking our sponsors who helped us achieve that objective here. And I hope you had a chance to visit the some 20 organizations who are participating in this event throughout the open house. And if you visited their exhibits and talked to their staff and the presentations they are showcasing, you realize that this work going on in Rochester is a team sport, that this is a collaborative effort that is really weaving together all of the strengths and capacities and perspectives of many organizations to do this work. And that's really the story that gets told when you visit all of these 20 organizations. And these are organizations we work with and interact with on a daily basis. So again, join me in thanking all of those organizations who are with us tonight. And I've heard a number of people say, why this location? It's really hard to find, and I don't even know what you're talking about when you say First and First Southeast. And we choose the location of our annual meeting pretty intentionally around the idea of introducing the community to a future development or future opportunity, or helping people see something that they maybe pass by every day and don't pay much attention to. And really a way of beginning and building new conversations. 4 years ago, we were in heart of the city before the redevelopment of Peace Plaza. 3 years ago, we were on Discovery Square, predating Discovery Walk and the beginning of 2 Discovery Square. Last year, we were on the riverfront and really began the conversation around the plans and the possibilities of the riverfront. And I'll just say that we launched, the city and DMC and others launched the planning process for the riverfront at our annual meeting last year. And in July of this year, the City Council unanimously embraced the plan that came out of a very robust community process. So not that we could take credit for our event being the outcome, the cause of that outcome, because apparently correlation and causation are two different things. But there is a relationship between choosing locations of this event as a way of starting community conversations. And so this year is no different in terms of why we chose this. I want to be really clear, because some people have asked me, is there going to be a big announcement about this site next to us? There is no big announcement about this site next to us. But what we are saying is this is an incredible opportunity for our community to think about this site next to us, to think about the proximity to the front door of Mayo Civic Center, to think about the post office location on First and Broadway. the potential of turning First Street into a more pedestrian-oriented connection of our downtown to our main entertainment venue. So that's the conversation that we want to begin tonight, is thinking about the future of this site, thinking about the post office site, thinking about the public realm potential of First Street connecting the downtown to Mayo Civic Center. So let's turn to our other speakers, and we're going to hear from Dr. Otley, as I mentioned. He will talk about really some of the energy and opportunity and things that have occurred in the past year that gives us a great deal of optimism. And then we'll hear from Mayor Norton, who will talk about really the profound capacity building we're doing in the city, not just the buildings that are getting built, but the capacity that is getting built. And then we'll hear from Pam Wheelock, chair of the DMCC board, about sort of big picture and how DMCC looks at stewarding the state resources that have been offered to Rochester. And if you stick around to the end, we have a surprise presentation that will occur that, quite frankly, may be the best one we have. So with that, Dr. Otley.
Teed up to be the 5th best speaker of the night out of 5. How does that work? Thank you, Patrick. I share your enthusiasm and optimism for our city. And does it get better than a night like this in Minnesota? How about 100 more of these before the snow falls? That would be great. So as I was leaving work today, I drove through Discovery Square, and just it's awesome to see the buildings going up and the activity that's happening in the buildings that have been built. I passed by the Kellen building, which is, I think, all the way up at its height, but yet to be framed in. And I'm thinking about the types of work that's going to be done there. That's a building that's going to be specifically focused on fast, rapid deployment of new technologies that change over time. So we're ready for the next pandemic. We're ready for the next disease that comes up. And it's a model for the type of care that Mayo Clinic increasingly is embracing. Across the campus, the proton beam facility, doing amazing work there, but it's really a facility that can only handle so much volume of cancer work. And we're expanding that to give hundreds of more patients a year that life-saving therapy. And it's awesome therapy, much more accurate and precise than the previous standard of care. And really, as Mayo Clinic thinks about facilities, we think about building world-class facilities for world-class doctors and researchers and nurses and technicians for patients from across the world who have the toughest diseases in the world. And we see them every day. I'm going to be operating tomorrow, and I know the kinds of things that we'll be facing, and we'll do a beautiful job taking care of those patients who come from across the world. We're very excited as Discovery Square 2 gets polished off and filled up. We just announced a collaboration with National Resilience, a company that went from a startup to a billion-dollar company in about 8 months, given the excitement and the incredible talent that they brought in. And they're focused on bioengineered cells and the types of substances secreted by our cells to re-engineer and rehabilitate our bodies using our own powers, in a sense. Awesome work that's very exciting. Passing downtown, we're still coming through the pandemic. We've had some hard times, but I can see those businesses really starting to flourish. A lot of people, Blue Duck was full of diners at like 5:27 when I drove by. I was tempted to stop by, but didn't have enough time. And then earlier this year, we opened up the Peace Plaza to a renewed, beautiful state. Those of you who made it down during the summer saw little kids stomping in water, families having fun, lots of vendors and events. It's a really beautiful space. And think about the extension of that in the other access as Discovery Walk gets built up. And by next year, we hope to be having similar walks and events there. And then that will take us down to Soldiers Field, which we're starting to reimagine as a community and envision what might happen there in about 3 years or so. I think back to about 2015 when all this started. Our mayor was there. She was part of the genesis of this, and a lot of people with bold visions. And what we did was we said we're going to plan our city in a very proactive, thoughtful, purposeful way. We're going to not just let it happen, we're going to make it happen in a way that serves our community, our patients, our state in a really beautiful, proactive way. I don't know that I envisioned or anybody envisioned the opportunity that we have down by the river that's emerged. It's super exciting, thinking about how we can activate first this initial small area by the river and then the very large area across the river. It's going to be an opportunity that's really a legacy for our community. And I think DMC has been a very good part with the city and with the county and with lots of agencies within the city to do a community discovery process and really get input. What does that mean for us? What can we make that space into that really speaks to our vision as a community that's focused on health and equity and diversity and sustainability moving forward. We've got opportunities to connect really important components of our civic community, our government community, and our cultural assets in the city right in this downtown river area. And I remember when I moved here in 1995, I think the Post Bulletin had run a story on remembering 1978, the flood of 1978. And that's still kind of a scar in people's minds. And I think many of us are ready to move beyond that and envision a river that serves us with protections to our community, but to really enliven it and make it something that comes alive and brings that water, which every community would love to have in the middle of their center to engage with. And so that needs to function in two ways. It needs to protect us, and we'll maintain that capability, but it also needs to enliven and create opportunities for us. The 6th Street Bridge that just got Department of Transportation federal support, millions of dollars, will be a really amazing connector to safely connect across that river our two parts of the community and spur development over across the way. So there's a lot to be optimistic for in this community. And I'll tell you one story about a patient that I met the other day. And I didn't meet her and him in the clinic. We had a DMC EDA meeting, and then we took a tour of Discovery Square 2, looked at the space, and then we wanted to go down and get a slice of pizza. So we had a really nice slice of pizza, and as we were putting our trash in the garbage can, there was a cute couple there. They were probably in their 70s, and I said, you know, you've got a golf bag. Tell us about your day? And they said, well, we're from Rhode Island. We're here with the clinic. We're getting a little chemo. And during our downtime, we love to come down and play golf. And then we come back through the city and get a little bite to eat. And your city, it's so clean, it's so beautiful, it's so well organized, and the people are so nice. And I thought, why didn't we have the camera then? We needed to record that. It was incredible, spontaneous joy from the patients. So our city is doing well, and I'm very thankful for all of you and your engagement in this. Couldn't make it happen without everybody here and many other people who aren't here. So I'd like to introduce our mayor, Mayor Norton, to make some comments and thank her for her great work.
A little shorter. So before I get started with my comments, I wondered if we have some of my city council members and some of our wonderful staff here. Could you guys, if the city council, I saw 2 or 3 of you, can you wave? Or there's Brooke Carlson, Molly, I think Kelly Ray's here, a few others. So wanted to thank them and recognize them for being here, and our wonderful staff who we couldn't manage without. So thank you, Dr. Otley. Those remarks were wonderful, and this evening is really about optimism. Optimism for our community. You heard it in both the speakers, and I know you'll continue to hear it as people come up here, and for good reason. Not only are we designing and building the infrastructure necessary for Rochester's successful growth, we are also designing and building the systems necessary to ensure that how we build the city is just as important as what we build. We are committed to ensuring all members of our community participate in the prosperity of the DMC initiative. The city and DMC have prevailing wage, workforce participation, and targeted business contracting goals to ensure that women and minorities have opportunities to participate on publicly funded projects. We are very proud of our work with Bloomberg Philanthropies to remove the barriers that stand in the way of women of color, those that were impacted the most economically during the pandemic, from entering and advancing in well-paying careers in construction. And we have wonderful partners in this community who have stepped up to help. This not only helps us serve our underserved community, but also allows us to reach into a previously untapped and talented workforce and pipeline in this tight labor market. So that's a win-win. This approach was developed by a dedicated group of local stakeholders that utilized another system designed to ensure that what we build is accessible and meaningful to diverse populations. That system is called community co-design. Co-design is a new and informed design process that collaborates with talented and knowledgeable local community members representing diverse lived experiences. And by diverse, we mean diverse in all ways you might think of it. For the Bloomberg project, our co-designers helped not only to identify the barriers, but also the processes and the solutions to create a sustainable and successful program. It was done with people, not to people. We also use co-design on projects like Discovery Walk, the Link Bus Rapid Transit, and Riverfront Small Area Plan Development, ensuring that there would be inclusive, accessible, and welcoming spaces that encourage health and cultural belonging for everyone. We are also committed to improving how we build our community. For several years, the Destination Medical Center has developed and refined another system that looks critically at the importance of how we build. And it's called the business strategy, the business forward strategy. Business forward is meant to mitigate the impact of construction by prioritizing the need of businesses and other stakeholders during the construction process. It's a tough thing to do, and they've done it well. Through Business Forward, businesses are invited to share information, experiences, perspectives, and ideas related to the impacts of the construction on their operations. Project leaders are in frequent communication to quickly address issues that may arise. DMC and the city work with contractors and construction companies to find ways to modify or adjust construction plans to ease the disruptions for business owners and their customers. In a nutshell, this dialogue centers on the specific question about construction-related interruptions. Can this be done another way? And we know the answer is yes. Time and again, building strong, trustworthy relationships helps to deliver better on projects. We are directly impacting our local businesses through partnership with the Minnesota Department of Economic and Employment Development. It's called the Main Street Economic Revitalization Grant Program, and it's designed to help our downtown businesses recover from the pandemic, as well as elevating opportunities for BIPOC, veteran, and disabled business and property owners. To date, 30 organizations have been recommended for funding totaling over $1.6 million. These funds will help to leverage over $48 million in private investment into Rochester's downtown. Our local businesses are the lifeblood of our community. We are eager to support them in whatever ways we can. And now, to zoom out to a larger vision for DMC, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the chair of the DMC Corporation Board of Directors, Ms. Pam Wheelock. Pam.
Well, thank you, Mayor Norton. It's just my pleasure to be here tonight, and I just want to echo the sense of optimism that we feel tonight. And it didn't come out of thin air. It wasn't magically here by accident or by happenstance. It's really due to the persistence, resilience, and the spirit that is woven into the very fabric of this community. And the evidence of this is all around us. Rochester fared better than many other cities during the pandemic, with local businesses pivoting to find new ways to reach their customers and to reach their customers safely. Rochester also saw growth in new businesses despite the pandemic's disruptions, as people caught that entrepreneurial spirit and brought their ideas to life. Rochester continues to leverage the innovation and reputation of its major employer to diversify and grow. And Rochester is acknowledged for its commitments to racial justice and equity, having earned intercultural city recognition as well as a Bloomberg Global Mayor's Challenge grant for its work to empower women who are Black, Indigenous, and people of color to pursue careers in construction. And really, kudos to this community and the leadership of Mayor Norton to achieve that amazing grant. It'll do phenomenal things. And the persistence, resilience, and community spirit already in evidence in Rochester bodes well for achieving Destination Medical Center's vision of making Rochester America's City for Health. What a goal that is, and it's so achievable with the continued support and effort and collaboration of all those who have been involved in these first few years. We're already attracting new investment from outside the area, including new commercial development and new life science and technology companies, which you've heard a little bit about already. Looking ahead, we at DMC will also make sure that local businesses are participating in Rochester's community growth. We've made significant investments in infrastructure improvements in the community, which you can't help but notice. Looking ahead, we will be striving to both future-proof the city and harness new technologies to make it easier for all citizens to navigate our city and participate in our community. And we're working harder to tell Rochester's story and to make the case that not only is Rochester a destination for the world's best medical care, but it also happens to be a great place to live, work, and raise a family. So on behalf of the Destination Medical Center Corporation's Board of Directors, I want to express profound thanks and gratitude for the myriad partnerships and collaborations that have enabled this progress that we have seen through DMC's first years. And I just want to shout out to the other DMC board members who are here tonight. If you could wave your arms, stand up, somehow make yourself known to those around you. It's really a joy and a privilege to volunteer to be associated with this work, and it's paying huge dividends, not only for the community, the region, but for the state of Minnesota. I firmly believe that what we have accomplished together so far grants us the right to think boldly and optimistically about Rochester's future and to fulfill our ambition to be America's City for Health. So I'm going to turn it back to Patrick, and just a short little reminder that you're the only thing standing between this crowd and the food trucks and the gabbing that will likely occur after the event. So no pressure, Patrick, but we're all curious about that last guest.
Thank you. Well, you have probably seen the incredible artwork that is behind us. And really, as a leave behind, as we begin this process of drawing attention to this part of our downtown and the potential future of it, we invited the art community to propose a mural on the blank wall that is the Civic Center ramp. And we had many incredible applicants, but none of them better than Jenna. There's an inside joke there, but she has multiple first names. That's it, right? I'm okay with just Jenna. So I would like to give the last words to Jenna Whiting to describe this piece of art that is now will be permanently part of our community and perhaps an inspiration for how we can use other blank walls in our community to start enlivening and connecting. Jenna, come on.
Hi, everyone. Sorry. Yeah. Jenna Whiting, thanks for having me here today. I'll keep this short and sweet like me. Just kidding. We got to get to food trucks. Okay. So the idea for Soul Flowers literally fell out of thin air. I was grabbing some tools to start working on this proposal when 3 sun prints that I created with my family fell to my feet in perfect order. and I'm pretty sure that there was a light shining on it at some point anyway. So long story short, we're here. I've been very excited about many projects, but there was something about this one that just felt like the universe was more involved. Sun prints are rich in history and science, just like our city. This piece was able to blend the two while showcasing Rochester's native plants and wildflowers growing throughout our city, which, might I add, is just as impressive 5 stories up as it is on the ground. After graciously accepting the opportunity to create something for my community, I found myself facing one of my bigger fears, heights. So with that said, I really absolutely have to give a shout out to my dad and sister for being there by my side all the way up. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have had the courage to get up there and let alone operate a boom lift. So if you absolutely need help with a boom lift, don't reach out to me. I'm so grateful to the City of Rochester and DMC for this unbelievable opportunity, my community, and all of those who have supported this initiative along the way. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's the end of the formal program. Please enjoy the opportunity to network and visit, talk to any of our speakers. And if you're still interested, there is many restaurants in downtown to hang out at. A lot going on to worth staying around downtown, but let's start by mingling again. Thank you. Thanks, Jenna. Nice job.